Welcome back, welcome back. Let's take our seats, let's take our seats. Okay, now, because I'm a coach, I have to ask you this question. I want you to think about this question. Based on today, it's been an inspiring event, hasn't it, Jacqueline? It's been a wonderful event. But we really want this to be the start rather than, the end, or one of those things where you come along, have a good day, and then you pack everything away at the end. I want you to begin to think about what's the actions that you're going to take based on today. What is it you're going to do? Is it you're going to download the toolkit? Is it that you're going to sign up, get your readers pass? What's the action that you're going to take? Because with business, no action, nothing happens. Is it you're going to write that business plan? What's it you're going to do and when? And on that note, I think that you can still sign up for this evening's event, which you're moderating with Joe Wicks. I think we probably have got...
You can still sign up for that as well.
Right.
Also, just to remind you all that we have a masterclass program as well. So that's going to be something that, as next steps, you might feel that you need some more training. Don't you just love all this extra space? Thank you, David, for spreading the seats back. I feel like I can dance or do some... I don't know, cartwheels or something. But yeah, so you'll be able to join our masterclass program as well and get some extra training. They continue on this week for the next few weeks. So do speak to the receptionist, those at the reception desk who will be able to help you to sign on for that.
Yeah, and I think that's a lovely moment to say throughout the year, there's a rich program of webinars and one-to-ones and so on. There are one-to-ones. I run 2 free online sessions, one called Soul Trader, one called Networking for Success, but there's things on everything from social media, protecting your intellectual property, finance, you name it, including AI. There's so many different things.
So many. It's a full program. You'll get well fed by coming here. So shall we let them know about David?
Let's let them know about David. But just one last shout out, if we can, for everybody, all of the business and IP centres online. Thank you so much for everyone who's been joining us.
Let's give a round of applause.
Yeah, and all those individuals. Yeah, so our next speaker, I think that you were talent spotting. You spotted them at an event. You thought they must be here to speak.
Because you know what, with my job, I have to get out there as well. And I think it's important to go to events. So even like you're here today, don't make this the only one you do this year. Come back to our other events that we do. We have loads of events going on. And if you go elsewhere, great, but make sure you come back here. But you get to meet new people and connect with other, who else is doing things in the entrepreneurship landscape. So I'd like to invite up a man called David Horne. This is the man who's raised more than 110 million in funding and bought or sold 32 companies.
I think it's worthy of a round of applause.
I'll just let that land there. Welcome, David.
Thank you.
Over to you.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon, everyone. So we're going to talk about money and setting up companies and finance and things that a lot of people don't really think about when they're setting up businesses, because they're so focused on ICPs and market strategies and where you're going to find your customers and what marketing you're going to do and how to protect your IP. And those are all good and important things. But if you don't look after the money, things can fall over pretty quickly. So we've got time at the end for Q&A, so we'll make sure that that's baked in. Don't bother raising your hand right now because the lights are so bright I can't see any of you. But yeah, we're going to go through, and it's how to finance your startup, and there will be Q&A at the end. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was just the form of a legal entity. So when you're starting your business, you can set up as a sole proprietor, which is an unincorporated entity. So from a legal perspective, it's you. And that's really simple and easy, but there are complications as well. And we'll come on to those. Or you can have a partnership where it might be you and another person, and you decide you want to be partners and you don't need to set up a limited company, and so you go into partnership. In both of those cases, from a legal perspective, that means it's you. So that means if anything goes wrong or if anybody comes after you, it's you and it's your personal assets that are on the line. So in the majority of cases, when I'm talking to people about starting a business, I do not recommend going out as a sole proprietor or as an unincorporated partnership, because you're just opening yourself up to liability issues. And the recommended route is to set up a limited company. And it's really, really easy. It takes about half an hour online at Companies House to register what you want. The current price is 50 quid. And usually within 48 hours, you'll get a note back from Companies House saying you're ready to go, your company's set up and running, here's the registered number, and you're off to the races. Now, the beauty of having a limited company is that it is a separate legal entity apart from yourself. So that if anybody ever comes after your company because something's gone wrong, they can't come after you and your personal assets. It's the company that's had the activity, and so the company is a separate registered thing from a legal perspective. So my first recommendation today would be, if you're starting out a business, go ahead and set up a limited company. It's not expensive. You can do it yourself. It costs 50 quid. And then the annual compliance, there's something you got to file every year called a confirmation statement. And currently that costs you 34 quid. So it's really cheap to just have that degree of legal protection and separation that makes sure that your personal assets are not on the line. Because sometimes business goes wrong. And so it's important to have that protection in place. Can I just check people at the back? Can you hear me all right? Yeah, good. Okay, great. So you've registered. You can still do this as yourself, but let's look at your registration. So HMRC, His Majesty's Revenue and Customs, the tax man, and compliance. So the type of registration that you do depends on the form. If you decide to go as a sole proprietor, unincorporated, then you register with HMRC and tell them that you're self-employed, and then they will pick up on the tax. If you create a limited company, automatically as part of the process of registering the company, Companies House, in addition to notifying you, will notify HMRC, and a couple of days later at the registered office of the company, you'll receive letters from HMRC telling you about corporation tax and how you need to set up for that. And so the different kinds of tax you need to think about are three. Number one, income and corporation tax. It's income tax if you're self-employed, because it will go through your self-assessment return. It's corporation tax if you incorporate as a limited company. One of the other advantages of having a limited company structure is that the top tax rate for a corporation is 25%, whereas if you are paying tax on the income individually, you can very quickly get up to 40% tax rates. And if you're doing really, really well and making more than 150 grand, you're going to be on a 45% tax rate. So it can start getting expensive in tax terms. Separate filing required if you're a corporation. But it's really not difficult, and I would recommend that you work with an external accountant to have them prepare your financial statements and tax returns for you. The next kind of tax is VAT. So VAT is a transaction tax, and basically you'll pay tax on purchases that you buy into the business, and then when you make sales out of the business, you charge VAT on your invoice. So let's say, for argument's sake, that you're a business that's buying in widgets from a supplier, and your widgets cost you £100 plus VAT. So they'll cost you £120 in total. So your invoice that you get from your supplier will be for 120 quid. And you sell those widgets for 200. So you have to add VAT onto those. So then it's £240 is what you charge to your customer. And then if that was the only transaction that you had, when you did your VAT return, you would say, I made £40 of VAT on sales that I made to customers, less I can deduct £20 of VAT on purchases I made from suppliers, and the net difference of the two, £20, is what I have to pay to HMRC. Hopefully with your businesses you'll have more transactions and more amounts of money to do than that. But that's something that you need to bear in mind. Now, when you're starting out, one of the really interesting things is you might not always have income at first. You might be going through a development phase where, maybe you've got some technology that you're developing, or you're doing some research or something like that. You can, if you wish, voluntarily apply to become VAT registered, and that enables you to claim back any VAT that you pay on supplies that you're acquiring, even though you haven't yet started generating revenue. So you might be in a situation where you're going to spend 10 grand or 20 grand or 50 grand on development and getting stuff supplied so that your business has these assets that it can then take out to market and sell, but you haven't got any revenue yet. If that was 50 grand that you were spending, there'd be another 10 grand of VAT on top of that because it's a 20% tax. If you're voluntarily registered, you can claim and get that 10 grand back from HMRC. So again, I recommend to everyone when you're setting up in your business, the first thing you want to do is voluntarily register to get VAT. There's a little bit of compliance you have to do, but once you hit the VAT threshold, you're required under law to register for VAT. So basically, once you hit 100 grand in turnover, you have to be registered for VAT. You're required by law. So you might as well do it now when you're starting out, when you're setting up. Because one of the other key things is that when you go out and you raise an invoice to a customer and there's no VAT on it, the first thing that customer is going to think, oh, this is a really small business. Am I sure I want to be dealing with these people? Whereas if you charge VAT, it's a cost. It's just part of the program. So I really strongly recommend that if you're going to set up as a limited company and register for VAT. And then as soon as you start employing anybody, and it might be that you're employing yourself, or it might be that you're employing your partner or your kids, that's entirely legal. Watch out for child labor laws. But you know, you hire in your first staff member and you bring them onto payroll. Well, then there's something called PAYE, which is pay as you earn, which is where you deduct tax and national insurance from your employees' paychecks, and you have to pay that across to HMRC. So there's three kind of areas of tax compliance that you must be aware of when you're starting out, which is the income or corporation tax, the VAT, and the PAYE. And again, these are all things that are really not difficult and not complicated. And if you want, and if you're financially inclined and curious, you can actually do it yourself. But if this is something that you think, oh my God, I don't understand this, I don't want to touch it, then find an accountant and they'll take care of it for you. Oh, oops, okay. 20 years ago, this bit used to be really easy, getting a bank account for your business. 20 years ago, I was the chief financial officer of a company listed on the stock exchange. And we bought a lot of companies. I mean, when they introduced me, they said I've bought and sold 32 companies. Well, 16 of those were when I was with listed companies on the stock exchange. And whenever we took over another company, we would just go into whoever their bankers were and say, we've just bought them, here's the stock exchange announcement, please change everything on the bank, and presto, we were all of a sudden authorized to sign on the bank accounts. What's happened in the last 15 years since the global financial crash has been a huge amount of additional regulatory burden, especially on financial institutions, banks, other bodies that are subject to regulation in the financial world have had so much regulation piled on them under two areas known as KYC, which is Know Your Client, and AML, which is anti-money laundering. And the banks are required now to go through very extensive tests so that they do know who their client is and that they can prove that they've done the checks to make sure that the money that you're putting into the bank account isn't coming from money laundering or other nefarious sources. Now, you can still open an account with a high street bank, but you got to bear in mind it's going to take, if you're lucky, 3 to 4 weeks. If you're unlucky, a few months. I've had varying results with different banks. If you're a tech company, I would recommend someone like HSBC Innovation Bank, which was the old Silicon Valley Bank that went bust last year, and then HSBC bought them. It's a separate arm of HSBC. I've opened accounts with them in about 2 weeks. I've also opened accounts with Barclays in about 2 weeks. I haven't tried the other big ones recently, but it's going to take time because they have to go through these processes. And so what you might want to do is look at some of the challenger banks, and I'm talking about Starling Bank, I'm talking about Alaka Bank, I'm talking about Zempler Bank. There's a whole bunch of them that have different names, Monzo, you know, and I'm not recommending any of them, but they're out there. You can just look up, just Google challenger banks. And oftentimes you can do this where you download an app and you register with them, and you take a selfie with your face right up close into the app, and then you take a picture of your passport, and then you put your passport on the desk and you stick your phone on top of it, and it reads the chip that's inside it. And that's the technology that they've developed in order for them to be able to go through and do all of that KYC and AML testing. And so with the challenger banks, you can often get a bank account up and running within a day or two. You know, it used to be within half an hour. Now it's within a day or two. We have to accept that seemingly that's a good thing. The challenge with the challenger banks is that once your business gets above a certain size, they start to get a little bit antsy. So if you're looking at starting out a business now and you have ambitions to really grow it, by all means start with a challenger bank to get the bank account open. But at the same time, I would go for one of the high street banks, because if you're ever doing anything with international payments, either inbound or outbound, that can get tricky. If you're ever doing anything with large sums of money, sometimes the limits on the challenger banks can get tricky. So I would really recommend, if you're starting out, start with a challenger bank to get the bank account set up so that you know you've got it, but at the same time, run with the high street bank. And then lastly, just looking at personal versus business accounts. And again, this comes back to the idea of whether you're an incorporated entity or not. Obviously, if you're incorporated, the bank account's going to be in the name of your company, so it will be a business account. If you choose not to incorporate and just to run the business as yourself, like I said, that's totally fine as long as you understand some of the restrictions or potential liabilities that you face. But if you do go down that route, please open a separate bank account that is for your business. Because if you're ever subject to an inspection by HMRC or any other governmental authorities and you haven't got a separate business bank account, they're going to go through your personal bank account and they're going to ask you questions about every single transaction that's in there. And most of it is entirely irrelevant, and it just keeps things separate. So if you are going to go through as a sole trader or an unincorporated partnership, please don't use your personal bank account. Please go to whoever you've got as your banker now and say, I'm setting up as a sole trader. I want to open a business account in my personal name, and they'll get you going. And if you're already with a bank as a personal customer, it shouldn't take long because you've already passed their AML and their KYC. So if you're going personal, as in sole proprietor or unincorporated partnership, please, please, please open a business bank account in your name. And then early stage funding options. I guess most of you have heard of bootstrapping. Is there anyone here who hasn't heard of bootstrapping? Okay, so bootstrapping is when all of the money that goes into the company is either your money or money that you've been able to generate by selling whatever it is that you sell to customers. So if you think about it as a pair of boots, and they got straps on either side, and you're sticking your foot inside, well, that's fully down to you and your control. So bootstrapping is your business. You'll own 100% of the business, and whatever money that you can either put in yourself or spend money on your credit card if you want to rack up credit card debt, and I know a lot of founders do that in the early stages, or whatever you can sell to customers, that's the amount of cash that you've got in your business that you can play with and decide, how am I going to spend it? And for a lot of people, that's enough, but not everyone. And a lot of people want to have a bit more support. So a number of early stage funding options. There's startup loans. These are administered through the British Business Bank. There's also Virgin startup loans, but it's the same basic application. These are personal loans that you can get for up to £25,000 at a fixed rate of interest of 6%, which in the current economic climate is pretty attractive. When interest rates were zero, it seemed a little less attractive, but now that interest rates are up around 4 or 5%, a 6% loan for starting a business is actually quite an attractive rate. There's a set of applications you have to go through, But if you're successful in getting that, they will make a personal loan to you that you then put into the business. And there is other support you can get. There's mentoring and business coaching that you can get. So I really recommend, if you're in an early stage, look up startuploans.co.uk and have a look at how you might be able to get 25 grand to help you get off the ground faster. Because the key thing, again, bootstrapping is great, but having a little bit more money lets you do things a little bit faster. The next type of early stage funding you can do is friends and family. Now, this only works if you're an incorporated entity, because if you're not an incorporated entity, you can't sell shares in yourself. I guess you could get loans from them, but you can't sell shares in yourself. And a lot of people think, gee, I'm not sure I want to go out to my friends or my family. You know, they might feel like I'm begging for charity or something like this. You need to get through your mind that you're not doing that. What you're doing is offering them an opportunity to buy a stake in your company at a very early stage. My favorite example is Richard Branson. Richard Branson, when he started out in the 1960s, sold a stake in his business to his uncle for $5 grand. He used that $5 grand to go out and buy a van. And that's how Virgin Records started. And Virgin Records led to Virgin Atlantic, led to Virgin, I don't know, I think Richard Branson has about 400 companies now. All thanks to his uncle putting $5 grand into his business. So friends and family is a great way. You can go out and talk to your mates. You know, maybe you've got an aunt or an uncle that run a business and they've got a little bit of extra cash, and go to them and say, hey, this is my plan, this is what I'm doing. I need X. Would you support me in return for taking a stake in the business? And finally, angel investors, and this is when you're getting a little bit more sophisticated. Angel investors are wealthy private individuals. Oftentimes they're entrepreneurs who've sold a business and they've decided, rather than starting up another business, I'm just going to help early stage businesses and I'll make investments in them. So I will invest into those companies again in return for taking a share of the business. I could talk for a lot more on that, but I want to open up for Q&A. Very quickly, accounting and compliance. So your requirements depend on your legal entity, but you've got to file annual accounts. If you're unincorporated, then it's annual accounts that go with your tax return. If you're incorporated, you file them at Companies House. You have to file tax returns every year. And as I mentioned before, you have to file a confirmation statement with Companies House. And now it's your time to have your questions answered. We've got a roving mic, and I see a question right there. If you can just wait for the mic to come.
Hi, quick question. Does it make sense to register a company to your home address, or there are some, services they provide, some addresses for limited companies?
It's really a choice. If you register it to your home address will be in the public domain. So if you're private or concerned about that, then you might not want to do that. I do it. I've got about 50 companies registered to my home address, so I've kind of taken the view that once one of them was out there, it didn't matter if the other 49 were. If you want to use someone else's service as a registered office address, you're going to have to pay them a fee. And it's something you can always change. So it might be that you start out and it's your home address, and then you change it to a registered company. So it depends on how much privacy you have that you want to have. I have some clients who are very, very private with their home stuff because they are very, very public individuals. So for them, I'll pay money and keep my home address private. If you're not bothered with it, it doesn't matter to have it at home. Yes, right up front.
Very, very insightful. In regard of volunteering, registering for VAT, I can claim back 7 years for products contributing towards the business I'm building. I came across that. How far can I claim back VAT for services like you've been using co-working space or your domain names and web servers and so while you're preparing your business?
I haven't the Scoobies.
All right.
I'm not a VAT expert. Good question. I didn't even know you could. I don't think you can claim back, though. You can only claim from the date that you're registered. Okay, fine. Fine, entirely possible. I'm not a VAT expert, sorry. Got one here, and then we've got one over here.
So I'm looking to potentially start a charity or social enterprise.
Cool.
Not quite sure yet, but I'm just wondering how that would work within, I suppose, how you register with the government in terms of like, can you be a limited company and also a charity? Do they not go together? Like,
You can. There's something called a charitable incorporated corporation, a CIC. So it's a limited company, but it's registered as a charity. If you're a charity, in addition to registering the company with Companies House, you have to register it with the Charity Commission. And then if you're going to be seeking donations from the public and you want to be able to offer people tax benefits for that, you have to separately register with HMRC. Again, this isn't my area of expertise, but I am a trustee of a charity, so I know enough about that. But so yes, you can. A CIC. There are also, there's something called a company limited by guarantee, which is where you don't have shareholders and basically you're committed to reinvest all of the profits into the company. But again, that's still a company, but yeah, it's not mutually exclusive.
perfect, thank you.
And we got one over here and then, oh, okay, let's just do this one and then we'll do online.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you for your time. I've had some experience in some of the ways of raising funds that you mentioned, but I was wondering if you could expand a little on angel investors and how you would go about finding an angel investor, or if there's any official routes for that.
So angel investors tend to operate in syndicates. So there will be a group of them, 20, 30, 50. And it might be that, it's the British Library Angel Syndicate. I mean, I don't think there is one, but... And so what you'd need to do is find out who's the gatekeeper of that syndicate. And you can usually, with research, find them. And then reach out to them and say, okay, I'm interested in pitching. What's the process? How does it work? If you're looking to find these angel syndicates, I would recommend you go onto the website ukbaa.org.uk. It's the UK Business Angels Association. It's the trade body for business angels, ukbaa.org.uk.
Thank you, that's fantastic.
Pleasure. Online question.
Okay, we have Ellie. Ellie is coming with the questions. Well done, Ellie. And anybody else who's online, please do send your questions in. So Ellie is asking, what is the difference between a sole proprietor and a sole trader? Because she's saying she thought they're different. Are they different things?
No, they're the same.
They are the same.
Yeah.
So she wanted to understand why you advised against this, because she's been advised to register as a sole trader.
If she registers as a sole trader, then legally, anything that goes on in her business is her responsibility. So if things went horribly wrong and someone decided to come along and sue the company for £1 million, she herself legally would be on the line for that. If it was the company, then the company would get sued. And if the company didn't have the ability to pay that, then the company would go bankrupt. But Ellie, as the owner of the company, would not. Whereas if Ellie was personal, if Ellie was a sole trader and was sued for £1 million and couldn't pay it, then Ellie as an individual would go bankrupt.
It's about liability, really.
It's about managing liability, primarily, yeah.
Awesome.
Right at the back there. Yep, and then the lady right in front of you afterwards.
Hello there.
Hi.
I'm planning to set up a company that will be operating abroad, more specifically the Caribbean. And I'd like to know, in terms of having a bank account, which would be the most efficient and cost-effective way of doing things. Do I, in other words, think about setting up a bank account at a local bank in the Caribbean, or can I do that from London? I know Barclays and HSBC hasn't got a presence on the islands that I'm planning to do business in, but I'd like to hear your views about it, please.
Do you plan to have your customers will be on Caribbean islands?
Yes.
Okay. So you want something that's easy for your customers to pay into, so probably having a local Caribbean bank account.
No, it's not it's going to be a hotel, so my customers will come from...
Can you just give her the mic again? Sorry.
Yes, it's going to be a hotel, so my customers will come from America, Europe, Canada.
Right.
So in terms of where they'll be or where they come from, they won't be from the Caribbean, but they'll be going on holiday and being guests over there.
Okay, now I have to caveat this that I'm not an international tax advisor, but based on what you've said, I would imagine you would set up a limited company in the Caribbean to run the hotel in the Caribbean, so you'd have bank accounts in the Caribbean. That would, based on what you've said, that would be the, if we were friends down the pub, that's what I would say to you. The lady right in front of you, and then there's one down here.
We've got one more online, by the way.
Okay.
Hi, I just wanted to ask if you had any suggestions or any information about grants for female and older entrepreneurs, particularly.
So female entrepreneurs is a subject very near and dear to my heart. I've written a book called Funded Female Founders, and it's available on Amazon. It's a phenomenal book. It really is. I've also got a TEDx talk that you can watch for free. It's called The Fight for Fairer Funding. I'm not an expert on grant funding, so I know there's Innovate UK. I know there are other grant funding bodies. There are plenty of people who advise on grants. Unfortunately, I can't really help you there. It's not my area of expertise. Then we had one down here, and then we had online.
When thinking about early investment, I've been advised that SCIS and EIS schemes are very important in the UK.
Yes, they are.
Could you maybe say a couple more words about those, and if there are any other things we should be thinking about to register for?
Yep. So SEIS is the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme. EIS is the Enterprise Investment Scheme. So EIS came first a long time ago, and then SEIS came in about, I think it was around 2013, 2014. So these are schemes that are designed to de-risk the investment from the investor's perspective. And as long as the company meets the criteria, and it's all set out on the HMRC website, the company can apply to HMRC to get what's called advance assurance that says, based on what I've submitted, if you take investment, we will grant EIS or SEIS relief. For the investor, they get a rebate in tax. So if I pay £1,000 into a company, if it's SEIS, I'll get £500 back from the taxman. If it's EIS, I'll get £300 back. If then there's any future gains, dividends, or ultimately a capital gain on an exit of the business, I pay no tax on any of that. And if in the hopefully unlikely event that the business goes bust, the amount that I have as a net exposure, which is either in my example £500 or £700, I can deduct from my income. So from an investor's perspective, it's very, very attractive. The UK is the only country in the world that offers schemes like these. Why other countries around the world haven't, I don't know, and that's partly explains why when you look at the UK as a component of the entire geographical Europe, more investment goes into the UK than the rest of Europe combined. Come back to you, but we had an online question.
Yes, this is Mark Jones. Mark is asking, he says, hello, would you recommend crowdfunding or equity crowdfunding for an insurance company?
For an insurance company, I would say equity crowdfunding.
Why?
Well, insurance companies tend not to be small. And so if he's talking about crowdfunding, I'm guessing he's meaning debt crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is a concept where you can have a pool of investors, a crowd, as it were. So for instance, all of you could potentially be investors in a theoretical entity that I'm creating, and I'm putting it up on a website saying, hey, I'm crowdfunding, I need to raise this much money. And you can decide, no, I'm not going to invest. Yes, I'm going to put in 10 quid. Yes, I'm going to put in 100 quid. Or I really like this guy, I'm going to put in 5 grand. And the pool of all of your money will be what gets crowdfunded. But if it's going to be an insurance company, it's going to be an equity crowdfunding thing, because to build and scale an insurance company, you can't do it on 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 grand. You're talking 10 or 20 or 50 million to really get it off the ground.
We've got room for one very, very, very quick question. One very last, very quick question.
Right there.
Earlier this year, my wife and I, we launched a company. We bootstrapped, and essentially we're at the stage where we need to raise money. At the beginning, they mentioned that you've acquired or sold a bunch of companies. Essentially, what do you look for when you're seeking investment, to invest in other companies?
So what do I look for if I'm looking to invest in another company?
Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to look for is who are the people behind the company? And really for early stage investment businesses, so many people going, oh, I've got this great idea and I'm going to be really secretive about it. Nobody cares about ideas. They're cheap. Can you execute? Who are the people behind the business and can you execute on it? Once I've checked out that I feel you can execute, what have you done with it? And that's called traction. People talk about traction. Have you sold anything? Have you actually got paying customers? If you do, how much? How many? How often have they been buying? Are they on a subscription where they're paying every month, or is it a one-off sale? If you don't have any customers, have you got a database of people who've said that they're interested in what you're going to do, but it's not yet ready to launch, so it will depend on the stage. But it's all about understanding, what is my risk going into this? Am I going to get my money back or not? And if I am going to get my money back, do I think I'm going to get my money back with a return? But it's all about understanding that risk.
How do we contact you?
Well, keep the applause going for David Horne. David, thank you so much, because you covered so much rich ground in that time. And just picking up on some of the things that David said, and just picking up on people are wanting that further information. Remember, this wonderful toolkit has got lots of the kind of ground that David's talked about, including things like the business structures and so on, some of the key headlines about what you need to do in terms of tax, etc. And there are also questions about, you know, finance and investment. Do look out the workshops that we run here at the BIPC around funding options, and there are databases around grants, etc., that you can access here. So this has been a really powerful prompt of all the kind of stuff that can be valuable here.
Totally powerful. Thank you. It's all about the money, or the Benjamins, as some would say. So moving on quickly, just want to encourage you right now. We're getting to that time of the day where we'll be pulling prizes out of buckets. We're pulling your feedback forms out of buckets to be able to give prizes away.
We need to hear a woo. I didn't hear any woo.
Like, come on.
And stamping feet, maybe.
Exactly. You know, come on. But yeah, so before we do that, though, we'll just have a few words from our director. But before that, before she comes on, just take your time right now to complete the feedback forms. You have about 6 minutes. So the team will, thank you for asking that, actually. The team will be collecting them. They'll be coming down the side to collect them. So if you need a pen or you haven't got nothing, or still need a feedback form, quickly let them know. And they will be collecting that. A quick one, everybody. When it comes to entrepreneurship, at the British Library, the BIPC, we do focus on entrepreneurs from all walks of life. And that does also include different levels of ability, or some with, you know, class as disability as well. We have an event on Thursday called Start-up Stars. You may have seen a panel earlier from some of the cohorts from our Get Ready for Business Growth program. On Thursday, this Thursday the 20th, there will be a panel event, I believe it is, called Building a Business as a Disabled Entrepreneur. There may be some differences. I don't know if that's included neurodiversity as well, but that's going to be a good one to sign up to on Eventbrite. So do check that out. Ask somebody at the reception desk if you need to, or our BIPC desk just outside in the foyer.
Great one, and the speakers at that incredible are really
awesome.
Wonderful. So do check that out. So do fill in your form. No form, no prize.
So let's now invite our Director of Business Audience Team, which is part of the Business and IP Centre, Isabel Oswald. Give her a round of applause. Yeah. Welcome, Isabel.
Absolutely. And whilst Isabel's on her way to the stage, I just want to say a few words about Isabel.
He's good at this. He's good at this.
No, because I'm a big I'm a big fan of Isabel. But you know, next year will be the 20th anniversary of the Business and IP Centre. And if there's one person who's been really central to that whole journey, it has been Isabel Oswell. So we've got her to thank for so much of this and the drive and the passion and leading the team and leading lots of the work that you don't see behind the scenes. So can we have a very, very warm round of applause for Isabel?
Thanks so much, Rashid and Jacqueline, for that. Actually, it's really the people out there who are the stars of the show tonight, because we're here to support you and make sure that we give you the best possible chance to succeed in your business. So, as Rashid has said, I am Isabel Oswell. I'm Director of Business Audiences here at the British Library, and that translates into being responsible for business support delivered in our Business and IP Centre over in St Pancras, in the main building here in St Pancras, as well as coordinating a network of 20 libraries outside of London. And so big welcome to everybody who's joining us. We have 16 libraries joining us today. I'd be here all night if I shouted out all of their names, but big welcome, or very soon goodbye, sadly, to you, and also to everyone joining online. And it's great to hear some questions coming from the audience online. And so we just had a great talk from David about finance and funding your business, and it's just me standing in between you and the prize draw, but please do fill in your feedback forms, because that is our finance. Those are, for us, our funding, and we need them to be able to demonstrate that we are making a difference, or that we are supporting people to start up and grow successful businesses across the country, both to our funders at DCMS. Hooray, you're holding yours up. And also private sponsors such as JP Morgan Chase, for which many thanks. So I didn't see, there was a show of hands earlier, and honestly, the lights are very bright up here. How many people are thinking of starting up a business? That is tremendous. So that's about half the audience. And how many people are already starting or running a business? So that is more or less the other half. Brilliant. I'm not sure what everybody else is doing here today, but you're all welcome. So I hope you've all had a fantastic day. I've been sitting in the audience most of the day, and I've been blown away by the speakers. It's just been incredible. And one final show of hands, because we want to send you away inspired, with a great idea, with a plan in your head. So can you put up your hands, those of you who felt inspired, got a plan, get away? And Ray, that is almost 100%. So we've achieved our aims. So we heard a lot today from businesses, from our startup stars, for example, how lonely it is to be in business, to start a business. And I just wanted to say you are not alone, because you've got all of each other that you've met today. You're part of a great community, the Business and IP Centre Network, and all of my team are absolutely passionate about supporting people to start up and run successful businesses, especially those who are underrepresented in business. But we are open to everyone, and I have to say that every day is a startup day in the British Library. So there's been a lot of talk about our services, and I think Rashid and also Anna earlier and Jacqueline have done a fantastic job in promoting them. But just to summarise again, at the heart of our support is free access to over £5 million worth of business intelligence, and you heard an amazing, those of you who were there this morning, there was an amazing presentation from Intel about consumer behaviour and trends. Also, intellectual property. We are the Library of the UK Intellectual Property Office, so we know all about patents, trademarks, designs, copyright, etc. And there is IP in all of your business, whether it's the name, it's the logo, any design you use, anything writing on your website. So be sure that you defend it and that you look after it, because especially when you scale, you may be able to exploit it and make money out of it as well. And we heard that wonderful story, well, not so wonderful at the beginning, about how Amber managed to defend her IP in the face of a giant. I've always loved Zara, but I'm not so sure anymore. Just to summarise as well, we also hold a number of free programmes. So we have a startup program called Kickstart Your Business. We have what I call a step-up program, which is a series of masterclasses. And we have a scale-up program, which is called Get Ready for Business Growth. And the speakers who spoke earlier in Startup Stars were graduates or alumni from from Get Ready for Business Growth program. And we don't do this alone. We work with partners, so the Intellectual Property Office, with local authorities, and we also had some of our delivery partners here today talking about supporting you with marketing, finance, social media, business planning. So I hope you got to speak to them. And also, I know loads of you went and very bravely did a pitch to the Doorbell of Dreams. So best of luck to all of you. And also, many of you have had your headshot done as well, and I couldn't recommend Sam Lane enough. She did this headshot for me, and that was about 10 years ago. I'm afraid I've aged somewhat since then. But anyway, I want to end, so just by leaving you with, and those of you who were here earlier on for our interim chief exec's talk or speech, he mentioned that if you use our services, you're going to be twice as likely as the average entrepreneur to be successful. So over 90% of our entrepreneurs are still trading after that crucial third year, compared with only 50% across the board. So please do give yourself the best chance of success. So finally, I'd like to thank my amazing team who put this on today, as well as all of those our partners across the country who are staging their own events and also screening this event. And I want to particularly single out Alison Dwyer, our Strategic Partnerships Manager. And I would really, honestly, the team has pulled out all the stops so to put on today's event. And I also want to thank all of our amazing speakers. So I don't want to name them all, but Martha, I've learned so much about social media today that I have to put into practice. And Martha is one of our ambassadors, you know. And also to our delivery partners, I'm not sure if they're still in the people who help us to deliver our services. So Rashid is one of our delivery partners as well, and he specialises more in the soft skills. So networking and following your heart.
Networking for success and Soul Trade how to run a heart-centered business, so every month.
Brilliant. So please do come back and use us. And also, thanks to the team from the Doorbell of Dreams. I've mentioned Sam, and thanks to Appy and the other photographers who are here today, and also, of course, to our supporters and funders, and including JP Morgan Chase. So that's it. All I need to do now is just make sure that you sign up to our e-newsletter, obviously that you fill in your feedback forms, and that you come back and use us. And that said, it's not quite over. I think there are a few more tickets left for the talk or the fireside chat with Joe and Nikki Wicks tonight. So if you haven't already, please do sign up. Thanks so much again for coming, and thank you everyone online for joining us.
Fantastic. How about that? So, did anyone notice over there, I think Jordan's holding them, we have two kind of large boxes, vats kind of style thing, full of all sorts of feedback forms. So among them will be the winners today. Are you excited? Who's feeling like a winner today? Yeah? Feeling really good? I just want to add one thing before we do call out the prizes, and we've got a wonderful prize list somewhere here. Should we tempt everyone with the wonderful prizes that we've got here?
Let's do it.
Because a number of our wonderful speakers have offered prizes. We have got, there, you've got the list there.
Okay, so going in, we do have our lovely co-host, Rashid. He has given away, how many copies, Rashid?
3 copies.
3 copies of his groundbreaking book, Soul Trader. Woohoo! So when you do come to the workshop, to his workshop, online webinar, you can be waving the book. No, so 3 of those signed as well. We do have 2 vouchers from Martha, a £50 gift voucher to spend at Martha Brook. I mean, come on, this is the time to get all your new stationery. And for those who just loved all those 10 tips on the social media, she's got a Secrets to Instagram growth course for businesses, and you get a voucher for that. I mean, how much is that worth? It's enough. It's enough. It's enough. So you get that for free. From Amber, we've got a bag here with a House of Zana workwear voucher. Not Zara, Zana, House of Zana. Let's get that one right, Zara. Okay, so Amber is going to be giving that away. From David, he has given us 2 copies of his book, Add, Then Multiply. So if you want to get all those numbers right and understand things around business and et cetera, and building maybe to 110 million, was it? Never know. Get the book. See if you win that. There's also a couple of the funded female founders books as well. And for those who are online, don't feel sad. We do love you too. I'll give away some of those prizes for you guys online as well. But for those right here in the house, you'll be able to come up on stage. Only if you want to, you're not forced to. But we do say if you'd like to, you can come up on stage, receive it. You get your moment, your 5 minutes of fame. Maybe do a catwalk, it's up to you. And we'll take a photo, and you'll definitely will be famous then.
And with that said, please do remember, it's a lovely moment to, if you are taking a photograph, if you've taken photographs, please do tag in the British Library Business and IP Centre. Let's share the love about today, about what's been going on. We've learned from Martha today about how we can really be bold with social media. You'll see all of the tags here, and I think you'll find us also on social media, and many of our speakers as well.
Carousels, right? Yeah, so there's multiple, and the hooks. Let's do that.
Exactly. So let's link everyone in. So let's
do it. Let's do it.
Jordan has got the let's give Jordan a round of applause.
And Amy behind him.
So who's going to be?
So hi Jordan. Hi Amy.
Exactly. So let's
bring
him up here. Let's bring him up here. And you can, because I think it's the first one in my book. I think you should pull that out. So I can't be claimed to be.
That's right. That's right. Don't be looking, Jordan. I should the one not to be looking.
And the first winner is
Matthew Thomas.
Matthew Thomas, are you here?
Southeast, Matthew Thomas.
Come up, have your moment. Fantastic. Let's keep the applause going whilst he's bounding down the stairs. Abby's ready to take the photograph. Good stuff. No, I thought you went on the top step. That's my fault. You're fantastic. Look at that.
You guys come over. You guys come over a little bit. I'm really pulling you now. I want to make it fair, so I'm taking from Amy's box as well.
And our second winner is
Andrea Just.
Andrea.
Congratulations.
Shall I say that this is also available on Amazon? I'm sure you've worked that already. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Go, Andrea. Congratulations. And the third person is Teresa Scully.
Oh, Teresa.
I heard the sigh there, like.
Well done.
A gasp.
Where's Teresa?
Congratulations.
Let's keep the applause going.
Yeah. Woo, 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 woo.
It's good to see that. I've got a feeling that you may have already read this book, have you?
I have a signed copy of this.
Oh, would you like to donate it to somebody you know then, or somebody here?
Well, to be honest, I would like to donate it to my lovely friend Mel.
Let's bring her up.
Come on, Mel.
Mel, come on, Mel. How about that? We'll take a picture of you both.
Yeah.
How lovely.
I've actually got
Okay, fantastic. That's good.
Meant to be,
Let's keep the applause going for Mel.
Congrats, Mel.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Wait. We need to. Yeah. Well done.
That was good.
Thank you.
Lovely of you, Teresa.
And the next prize. What's the next prize on our list?
And call Martha up to the stage once again.
Wow. There you go.
Okay,
Martha, what goodies are you giving away?
I have got £50 spent at Martha Brook. You can buy yourself a wonderful product, have a wonderful productivity bundle, a life plan, or whatever you fancy, or treat somebody for Christmas.
Sounds great. Perfect.
Right. Oh, should I pull one out?
Yeah, you can do that.
It's very exciting.
And the winner is...
Oh my God, I haven't got my glasses
Hang
on.
on,
You're going to have to read it, Rashid.
the winner is Michael R. Lorick. Yes, Michael.
Oh, well done.
Fantastic. Michael. Get ready for your photograph.
Go on, come up. We have a photo together. Don't press it enough.
If you'd like to pull one out of this box so we can make it fair.
Okay, next prize is this brilliant course on 1,100 businesses have done it on how to grow on Instagram. It genuinely is fantastic. So whoever gets this, it's a brilliant prize.
Wow.
And by the way, Michael and whoever gets this, if you can't read my writing, please just come and find me afterwards because I've written all the details and I'm slightly worried. Okay.
Yes, so check it immediately. So if you can check the handwriting, so you can claim your prize.
Okay.
And the winner for this one is...
Angela Bianco.
Angela, come up. Where's Angela?
Please do read it. My writing is terrible.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Martha. Wonderful prizes, wonderful prizes. And what's next on our goodies list?
Amber, come to the stage.
Oh, Amber. Let's keep the applause going for Amber. The wonderful story today. Oh, there's a serious goodie bag.
Maybe explain your prize.
A £100 gold ticket. It's a gift voucher for the website.
Oh, fantastic.
Stick out of here.
And do they get to keep the lovely,
Yes,
the lovely
and then
bag?
there's
I think you
also-
should waive that.
Yeah,
I
there's
think you
also
should
a tote
waive
bag, pen, notepad, pad as well.
How lovely, how lovely.
Okay. So if you want to pull one out of there.
Find that fairy warrior.
Yes. And the winner.
Where is the name? Here. Carla Rohama.
Carla, are you here?
Have I said that right?
Kaula, Rahama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are they shy? Are they? I'm just going to.
If you'd like to lift your hand, then we can bring it to you if you prefer.
Are they there? Or maybe they've had to leave. Well, sadly, we're going to have to move on. We will. Maybe we can make some. Oh, I know.
Director, what do you think we should do on this one?
Or should we send it? What should we do?
Send it.
Should we email them? Okay. Oh, the excitement. Oh, the excitement. You can tell that the public
they have spoken. They have spoken. Okay.
We will make sure that. Yeah, it's a big thank you. Do you want to just say a quick well done to them?
Well done, congratulations, and I hope you enjoy the prize.
Fantastic.
Shall I put it in here?
Should we give that to who can look after that? Oh, you'll keep that there. Yeah, a big round of applause. Well done to them. Well done.
So we'll leave it in the bag, but then we'll take the bag from you because the feedback form is there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. We'll take that from you after. Okay, so David.
David, do you want to?
Once more, please come to the stage.
And you've been very generous, David. 4 copies. So that means you've got 4 potential winners.
So it's 2 of the add then multiply. 3 of the add then multiply.
Yeah, that says for BIPC to have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
you need to
okay.
keep
So
this one
2.
too. There's 3. Yeah,
And
Alison's
then
going
the
to grab that.
female founders,
Okay,
we're
sorry.
going to do one here, and then there's one for somebody online. I
Okay.
believe that's correct. Okay, so if you pick from these.
Let's go right down to the bottom.
And the winner is?
The winner is Olga Logund.
Yeah. Olga, you there?
Come on down. The price is right.
You know, I kind of like that because Olga's just like one name like Cher because she's a star, you know, just like the one name, Olga's on her way. Exactly. Well done.
Loving it.
Well done.
Congratulations, Olga.
That one, or would you like that one?
Let's start with that one.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Awesome. So now we've got 2 copies of the Add Then Multiply.
Right, your turn. Okay, we'll go down to the bottom of this one. Oh.
And the winner is, the winner of that is
Denise Fure.
Denise.
Denise. Is Denise here?
Ooh.
Denise?
You guys,
Denise.
who's disappeared?
Okay, and the last one's online. What we're going to
All
do?
right, we'll slip that inside the book and we'll work that one out.
We'll work
Her
that-
address is on there.
We'll get that to them.
Yeah.
And then it's the last one, an online winner. Let's give again a big shout out to the online crowd. They love your opportunity to win.
No. This one is also in-house.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
do the online one.
Oh, okay. So we've got one more in the room.
live.
One more
Online,
live.
we will pick somebody after, so they'll find out by email.
Right. And the winner is
Sam Saku.
Sam Saka. Yay! You doing it?
We can bring it to you. We'll bring it to you. Well done. Congrats.
David's on his way to hand the prize to you personally. Well done.
Okay, so that is all the prizes.
Okay, so actually time is running against us because we're going to soon have to turn the building around because for those of you, actually let's do a quick show. Who's going to be back here soon for the evening gig with Joe Wicks?
Just say thanks to Jordan and Amy once more.
Jordan
Thank you,
and
guys.
Amy, a big one round of applause. Wonderfully done. Yes, thank you.